What's up everyone, welcome back to Beyond ARTV. Today it's time for another installment of Hate It or Love It, my series where I talk about why people either love or hate a certain band or artist. And up on the chopping block today is one of my favorite bands of all time. It pained me a little bit to do why people hate them, but at the same time, I'm aware that anybody is open to criticism and people have their own thoughts and opinions, but my opinion is that this is one of my favorite bands of all time. I'm talking top two. It's like neck and neck between them and Green Day. And yes, I realize my hair, it's different. I normally have a hat on, but you know what? Ain't nobody gonna tell me how to wear my hair. My Chemical Romance were a rock band that were active from 2001 to 2013. They announced their breakup in March of that year, and it was devastating to myself and many others. But there was also a smaller camp of people who were rejoicing, saying finally this era of My Chemical Romance and this emo whiny bullshit is over, when in reality it still continues to this day. Not the emo whiny bullshit, just the fact that they're still My Chemical Romance fans. Today we're going to talk about 5 reasons why the internet hates My Chemical Romance. I've searched from everywhere from Reddit to other places like Quora and all of those search places where people get discussions going and really start expressing strong opinions. I wanted to find why people would hate My Chemical Romance, and some of them might have been a little bit more valid than others. I will weigh in with my thoughts on each point, but keep in mind that as I go through this video, these are other people's opinions, not my own, and especially with My Chemical Romance, most of you guys probably know if you watch my content that I love this band. Anyways, without further ado, please drop a like on this video, subscribe if you're new here, and let's get right into this episode of Hate It or Love It. Ah yes, the glorious rebellious teenage years. I went through the phase, and I'm sure many of you watching this video might currently be going through the rebellious teenager phase, and I can safely say that with this point, My Chemical Romance's music just being for rebellious teens, yeah, that's total bullshit. I'm 26, and I can still appreciate so many different things about this band's music, because a lot of bands from that time and my teenage years I totally grew out of, but My Chemical Romance stuck for a reason. A lot of people online seem to think that this band have angst simply for the sake of having angst, but the truth here is that they actually have deeper stories and often have character-driven narratives rather than just writing introspectively with Gerard Way fleshing out the cuts. That definitely happens, as there are many personal moments in their discography, but at the same time, I think that Gerard has always had the mind of a storyteller, hence the reason why he's become a creator in terms of comics. He's working with Netflix on Umbrella Academy. It's just crazy to see what his mind's eye allows him to explore. So their music just being for rebellious teenagers is total bullshit in my opinion. It's something where I feel like their music can be an escape. It allows you to paint your own mind's portrait with what you see when you listen to these tracks, whether it be 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge, or especially The Black Parade. John, you're sadly mistaken if you just think that these guys are anything but emo. That's just how it is. A lot of people would like me to believe that. A lot of people want to believe that My Chemical Romance are just flaming hot emo garbage. And look, I can understand if you've heard a couple of songs, maybe you heard Welcome to the Black Parade and Teenagers and maybe Helena, however the hell you want to pronounce it. Maybe you only heard those songs and you're thinking, okay, this band is just all about one certain sound or just this certain appeal that they have to their music. But that's not truly the full extent of what you're getting with My Chemical Romance. Them being emo might be something with their looks, but at the same time, many people just judge them based on their appearance and their looks, and they just said, oh, it's emo garbage, turn it off, next, skip, please. If you stuck around and actually paid attention to the music on their albums, and if you actually maybe listened to the full lengths in the first place, you would see that they have a lot more to offer. In fact, they have great guitar parts thanks to Frank Iero and Mikey Way and Ray Toro. They truly build out this band's rhythm section and their guitar-driven sound, and Bob Breyer on their core records like The Black Parade really comes through with some great percussion. Now, I can see the fact that many people would just be like, I don't want to get caught up in that vibe, you know? It's just too emo for me, it's too dark, whatever. It's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but all I'm saying is that with this point, I don't think that it's fair to just say emo and move on. Oh, Gerard Way's voice is too whiny? Well, not as whiny as I'm about to get in retaliation. I'm kidding, come on. I'll let off the gas pedal a little bit because I want to give people a break. Gerard Way is actually a very talented and skilled vocalist, but I have had friends that have told me in real life that they find his voice to be annoying on some songs. And I can get on some of the more shrill moments where he's going up and down the scale a little bit more, or maybe something manic like Mama in their discography, or even Na Na Na, which I even admit gets annoying at this point. There's songs that people might hear that trigger them a certain way, and their ears aren't as receptive to it. But Gerard Way as a vocalist, the way he's able to manipulate his voice and just shift into other gears, it's truly incredible. Something like Sleep truly shows his power. Here's a small clip. You see that vocal fluctuation there? I always found that to be so immensely powerful, the way that he has such control over his voice. And if you look at live performances from the Three Cheers era, or even Black Parade, or when I saw them with Danger Days when they were with Blink-182 at the Honda Civic Tour, I still felt Gerard Way was in full control, and the rest of the band made them sound really powerful as well, the vocals that is. At the end of the day though, I can't force you to like somebody's voice, and I don't think that other people should be arguing and saying, oh, well, you need to and have to accept the fact that this is great. I mean, I think you should maybe respect the talent, obviously, but just say it's not your cup of tea. Point number 4 is sadly one that I find when I research any of the bands in the original emo trinity. No, I'm not talking about the people that try to insert 21 Pilots in there, and no, not even all the bands that are in the emo trinity are really actually emo, but Panic at the Disco, My Chemical Romance, Fall Out Boy, those are the original 3 people. Wow, it sounds like I'm coming across just as intense as the people that I'm about to talk about here, but yeah, the intense fan base, that's point number 4. The fans often get very defensive and really just kind of jump all up in arms, I feel like, when people talk negatively about My Chemical Romance. Sure, that is the case for any band. I could make that point with any of these videos that I do in the Hate It or Love It series. I get that, but with My Chemical Romance, you don't even understand. It's almost like a cult following in a way, and not just cult following in the loose sense, more like, oh wow, there's some actual cult shit going on here. There's some worship. Rarely do you see longevity like this, or a band that gets passed down from generation to generation and still goes so strongly. Obviously, the other 2 bands in the emo trinity that I've mentioned, those are still going very strong as well, at least in terms of fans, and the fact that the other 2 are still active. But I guarantee you, if My Chemical Romance said, we're coming back tomorrow, people would lose their fucking minds. And I would be one of those people, but those intense fans, they cannot just get excited, but they can also get angry, and they can go on the offensive, and then they can get into cringy territory. And I understand that fans can ruin a band for some people, and I try not to look into that angle and just the people that get into the band members more than the music itself, but it's always a contributing factor to why some people might end up hating the band in the long run. The 5th and final reason why the internet seems to hate My Chemical Romance is the melodramatic lyrics. Now, melodramatic lyrics is something that I have to put in air quotes there because I don't feel it to be true, but people online gave a lot of reasons why they felt so. And a lot of people were sounding off about the fact that they felt like the lyrics are pretentious, or the fact that Gerard Way was trying too hard to sell you on an angle, or a certain vibe, or just trying to appeal to the emo kids, or trying to retain a certain sound or a certain influence. Like a lot of people were comparing to Welcome to the Black Parade. They were trying to say that that was ripping off Queen, Freddie Mercury, everything like that. But I think that there is a nice fine line in between inspiration and ripping something off. Now, they can have those influences, and I feel like they wore them proudly on the Black Parade and many of their other albums as well. But the way that My Chemical Romance evolved from album to album, they never crafted the same thing twice, not even remotely. And it's crazy that I can enjoy every single record and actually love every record in their discography, although it was too small, not enough albums, but we take what we can get around here. My Chemical Romance actually built something very solid. Sometimes they told stories from a rock opera perspective, sometimes they just went crazy and ballistic and lashed out about things, but they also told stories that were personal as well. They wrote about 9/11 on their first record, the way that it impacted them, and they wrote about other life circumstances. And 9/11 is what sparked the band in the first place. I just always felt like the creativity was there when it came to the lyrical content. But a lot of people seem to have gripes with it, but that is the fifth and final reason. Yep, for all of you living under a rock out there, people actually do hate My Chemical Romance. Believe it or not before you type it in the comments section down below. I feel like that happens every single episode. Like, oh, people hate this band? Oh my god, people hate this artist? I had no idea. There's people that hate everything. If there's fans, then there's also haters. It's just the way that life works. However, I do hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Please drop a like on it to show support for the channel, and make sure you subscribe as well. Ring that bell so you get notifications, and if you're able to, support me on Patreon at the top link down below. Quick access to Patreon is in this annotation in the corner of your screen. If you want to see the last episode of Hate It or Love It right over here, or another recent video on the channel right over here, the next episode is going to be dedicated to why people hate 5 Seconds of Summer, so stay tuned for that next month. And other than that, I'll see you soon on Beyond ARTV.